On August the 21st, 2011, tragedy struck at the Selfridge Air National Guard Base in Michigan. Before a crowd of 75,000 spectators, wing walker Todd Green attempted a daring mid-air transfer from a vintage Stearman biplane to the skid of a hovering helicopter. It was a stunt he had performed before, one that thrilled audiences and cemented his reputation as one of the best in the business. But this time, something went terribly wrong. In a horrifying moment, Green lost his grip and plunged nearly 200 feet to the ground, leaving the stunned audience in silence. His death was not only a devastating blow to his family and the airshow community, but also one of the most shocking accidents in modern stunt performance history. So what exactly happened that day? Let's talk about it. This is the death of Todd Green. Todd Allen Green was born on March 2nd, 1963, in Michigan. He grew up around airplanes and stunt shows thanks to his father, Thurman Green, a respected aerial stuntman nicknamed The Grip. Eddie had made a name for himself climbing around on an aircraft mid-flight, and it was only natural that Todd would eventually take up the same daring profession. With aviation in his blood, he combined skill, composure, and a showman's flair to carve out his own reputation as one of the most talented wing walkers of his generation. Todd was widely respected in the airshow community and was a member of the International Council of Airshows and the Experimental Aircraft Association. Friends and colleagues emphasised that he pursued wing walking not out of the recklessness of thrill-seeking but out of the love for the art of entertaining audiences. Kyle Franklin, a fellow stunt performer and former wing walker, highlighted Todd's mastery, saying, "He's only one of two people to ever do that transfer, and he was very good at it. I've seen him do that many times." The transfer Franklin referred to was Todd's signature stunt, moving from a biplane to the skid of a hovering helicopter mid-flight, a feat only a handful of performers in history have ever dared to attempt. Franklin explained that what made Todd stand out was not the reckless bravado, but his professionalism. He said, "Most of us in this business aren't necessarily adrenaline junkies. We just do it because we love performing, being in front of the crowd and entertaining them." Todd was extremely good at what he did. Outside of the shows, he was regarded as a devoted father and partner. He had a son, Tyler, and shared his life with his fiancée, Dawn. To his friends and family, he wasn't just a daredevil in the sky, but a grounded, hard-working man whose life revolved around both his family and his passion for flight. The Selfridge Air Show in Harrison Township, Michigan was one of the state's biggest aviation events, bringing in more than 75,000 spectators over the weekend. Families packed the grounds, children pointed skywards at roaring jets, and aviation enthusiasts came to see both modern military demonstrations and vintage stunt acts. Few performances carried as much anticipation as the wing walkers. On Sunday, August the 21st, 2011, the spotlight was on Todd Green. Standing on the wing of a bright yellow Stearman biplane, he prepared to attempt his signature maneuver. In this maneuver, the biplane would fly steady beneath, while the helicopter positioned itself close above. With only the rush of the wind and the noise of the engines filling his ears, Todd would climb upright on the biplane's wing, release his hold, and lunge for the helicopter's skid. This stunt was about precision, timing, and showmanship. The pilots of both aircrafts had to maintain formation to the inch, while Todd needed to make his move in the narrowest of windows. The announcer urged the crowd to watch closely, hyping up the tension. Many craned their necks, some raising their cameras, others simply staring in awe. Those familiar with Green's reputation felt confident. He had successfully completed the stunt the previous day. High above Selfridge, the moment arrived, the biplane steady, the helicopter hovering close, and Todd Green standing on the wing, was ready to do the stunt once again. As the crowd watched, Todd steadied himself on the upper wing of the Stearman. His movements were measured and calm. Above him, the helicopter held position, close enough that he would reach the skid if everything lined up perfectly. On his first attempt, the aircraft weren't quite aligned and Todd pulled back. Moments later he tried again but came up short. Then came the third attempt. Spectators reported that the helicopter seemed too high, or the biplane a touch too low. One said it was clear he couldn't get to the helicopter. At that point, the crowd was quiet because the air felt wrong. We just wanted him to stop. Todd lunged for the skid one last time. According to the official preliminary report, He released his grip on the airplane before the helicopter was in proper position, tried desperately to grab hold again, but there was nothing there, and in an instant, the sky dropped beneath him. Thousands of eyes followed as his body plummeted roughly 200 feet before striking the ground. Onlooker Jeremy Mitchell said, "I thought it was part of the stunt. It wasn't until the ambulance came that it sank in. Emergency crews rushed across the tarmac, but the damage was already done." The stunned silence at Selfridge lingered long after Todd Green had hit the ground. Spectators didn't know whether what they had seen was real or simply an extreme twist in the performance. Technical Sergeant Dan Heaton, spokesman for the airbase, confirmed that Green had fallen well clear of the crowd, about 1,500 feet away, ensuring no spectators were in danger. The FAA and the National Transportation Safety Board launched investigations. Early statements pointed to the timing as a critical factor. According to the National Transportation Safety Board's preliminary report, the helicopter pilot said Green had released his grip and lunged for the skid before the aircraft were properly aligned. Amateur video showed a large bird passing near the Stearman's wing just before the fall, and stronger winds than the day before were noted as possible contributing factors. The county's medical examiner later confirmed that Todd Green died instantly from multiple blunt force injuries sustained in the fall. He was only 48 years old. The tragedy marked the first fatal accident at Selfridge Air Show in more than 15 years. Kyle Franklin summed up the mood in the community saying, "We are a very close-knit family. Whenever we lose one of our friends, it really hits you hard." The investigation concluded that the primary cause was an early release during the mid-air transfer, with Green letting go of the biplane before the helicopter was properly positioned. They found no mechanical failures with either aircraft, confirming the stunt was resulted from a combination of timing and human error. It was put down as an accident. In the days following, the airshow and aviation community mourned his loss. Friends, fellow performers, and fans shared stories of his skill, professionalism, and generosity. He was remembered as a master of his craft, with Kyle Franklin saying, "Todd didn't just perform stunts, he elevated them. He set the standard for everyone who followed." His family, including his fiancée Dawn and his son Tyler, were heavily supported by the community. The community organised tributes and memorials, holding moments of silence before taking to the skies. New performers often cite him as an inspiration, and even in death, Todd Green's presence lingered in the skies he loved, serving as a testament to both his artistry and the extreme risk that came with it. May he rest in peace. As always, this is not an AI channel, I do everything myself, and if you appreciate my work, subscribe, and if you want to go the extra step to support the channel, maybe consider becoming a member. Let me know what you thought about this case in the comments below, and as always, thank you for watching.